Nate, I wanted to ask you about the new CDC ruling and stabilizer. I know that there is a ruling now with any type of like fecal spill that 15 parts on stabilizer is the max. But beyond that, how do you see stabilizer changing in the future?
You know, referring directly to what you said about fecal remediation, biohazards, if you will. There's a tremendous misunderstanding in our industry that you cannot, in regions that have high ambient temperatures and high UV, you can't operate safely a pool without high levels of stabilizer. And it's not true. So I think, you know, the Modern Aquatic Health Code came along and felt all that pushback and all that feedback. And then now we have local interpretation of it and a way for them to say, hey, look, we're gonna create something in here that forces people to move in a good direction. So what we see is that the Modern Aquatic Health Code now says that if you have a biohazard or a loose fecal incident, that you need to lower your stabilizer level to 15 parts per million or less before you can even start to shock or inactivate the products. So if you're using a product like I don't want to name things, but if you're using something like a trichlor or a dichlor that inherently is loaded with stabilizer in an uncontrollable way, it's being loaded into your pool, you would be very hard without draining your whole pool to inactivate that fecal incident. Now, when we're in a time and a day and age that we are now in 2018, when water conservation is at the forefront of everything that everybody is trying to accomplish, it doesn't make any sense, either financially or practice-based, that we should use products that load the water with a product that we're trying to get rid of.
That's right.
Now, that being said, we actually have collected data. We did about a 16-month trial in an environment utilizing sodium hyperchlorite, CO2, and acid as the buffers for alkalinity and pH. We had enzymes in there. We were controlling phosphates using Orenda's products. And we trialed stabilizer to see what the effects were on a control system in a controlled environment with bathers interacting. So we found over a 16-month period that at 10 parts per million to 15 or 16 parts per million, we see a tangible ROI. We see a savings in chemicals, so we see a savings in sanitizer, but we're not seeing the steep decline in ORP or availability of free chlorine, right? So we still have a safe environment and we have a savings. So what we're saying to people is, let's rethink the way we're sanitizing our bodies of water. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're under the understanding that you need to use stabilizer in your environment to sustain a sanitizer level, a free chlorine level, then we're not completely against that. You know, we feel the industry is going to move away from it. I think we're going to be forced to move away from it. But in the time being, the time is gone to use products that load your water with things that aren't necessary and that are actually harmful to the environment. You take a place like the Hawaiian Island chain, very similar to the coast of California and the coast of Florida, those low-lying areas. Well, that water that we use in our pools eventually ends up somewhere. And I think we all know where it ends up, right? So we're responsible for the end result of what we did with that water, right? So if we can utilize products like Orenda, who are based on green technology that get us closer to reducing the amount of toxic chemicals we're using, then as an industry, we're headed in a good direction. So the future most definitely in sanitization is, you know, we're working with products now that say that you don't need to use sanitizer, that there's ways, you know, used through technology, but that isn't going to come to fruition for some time. But what we see in the industry is we're going away from products that are stabilized and in sanitizers, and we're going to non-stabilized and either not using stabilizer at all, or if somebody is looking to utilize it, then let's utilize it in a controlled manner. Right? Let's control the levels of it. We know where it starts to interfere with the efficacy of chlorine, of sanitizer. So let's work within those parameters, right? But I think eventually as an industry and Modern Aquatic Health Code is going to push us in that direction, which is fantastic. We are working towards getting away from stabilizer as a whole. You know, and that's coming. It's only a matter of time before that happens.
Right, absolutely. Thank you again for your time,
please.
Nate. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Once again, I'm Monica Stamper Hall with Orenda, and if you have any further questions or need further information, please visit orendatech.com or vivoaquatics.com. Thank you.